Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. What hardware is used in AWS Outposts? Standard desktop computers. AWS-designed rack server equipment. Third-party vendor hardware. Virtual machines. AWS Outposts uses AWS-designed rack server equipment to deliver AWS services on-premises. How does AWS Outposts integrate with AWS Management Console? It uses a third-party console for management. It appears as an extension of the AWS region. It cannot be managed from the AWS Management Console. It requires a separate management console. AWS Outposts is managed as an extension of the AWS region through the AWS Management Console. What should be considered for network configuration with AWS Outposts? Third-party network services only. Dedicated network linked to AWS and proper on-premises networking setup. No specific network configuration is needed. Only local network setup. A dedicated network linked to AWS and proper on-premises networking setup are crucial for AWS Outposts to function effectively. Which AWS services are available on AWS Outposts? Only S3 and EC2 services. Compute, storage, database, and other services such as ECS, EKS, and RDS. Only AWS IAM and AWS CloudTrail. Only AWS Lambda and AWS Fargate. AWS Outpost supports a variety of services including compute, storage, database, and container services like ECS, EKS, and RDS. What is the primary use case for AWS Outposts? Running serverless applications only. Hybrid applications requiring low latency and local data processing. High-latency data analytics workloads. Exclusive data backup to the cloud. AWS Outposts is primarily used for hybrid applications that require low latency and local data processing, providing a seamless connection to AWS cloud services. What is the purpose of AWS Outposts capacity planning? To plan for data transfer to the cloud. To set up user access controls. To ensure sufficient on-premises resources for workloads. To determine backup schedules. Capacity planning ensures that there are sufficient on-premises resources to handle the expected workloads without disruption. What is the primary management tool for AWS Outposts? AWS Lambda Functions. Local-only management console. A third-party management tool. AWS Management Console. AWS Outposts is primarily managed through the AWS Management Console, which provides a unified interface for managing both cloud and on-premises resources. What kind of applications are not suitable for AWS Outposts? Purely cloud-native applications with no on-premises requirements. Low latency, high-security applications. Hybrid applications needing local data processing. Applications with strict data residency requirements. Purely cloud-native applications with no need for on-premises resources are not suitable for AWS Outposts, as it is designed to bridge on-premises and cloud environments. What does the installation of AWS Outposts involve? Installation by third-party vendors only. Customer self-installation of hardware. No physical installation is required. Delivery and setup of AWS hardware at the customer site by AWS technicians. The installation of AWS Outposts involves AWS technicians delivering and setting up AWS hardware at the customer's on-premises location. What security measures are inherent in AWS Outposts? Third-party security software is required. No security features are provided. Built-in encryption, compliance certifications, and security monitoring. Only physical security measures are included. AWS Outposts includes built-in encryption, compliance certifications, and AWS security monitoring to protect data and applications. Can AWS Outposts be used for disaster recovery? Yes, it can be part of a hybrid cloud disaster recovery solution. Only for non-critical data backup. Only for cloud-native disaster recovery. No, it is not suitable for disaster recovery. AWS Outposts can be integrated into a hybrid cloud disaster recovery strategy, providing local processing and storage along with cloud-based backup and recovery. What is a key advantage of AWS Outposts over traditional on-premises infrastructure? No need for network connectivity. Access to AWS services and tools on-premises with consistent AWS experience. More flexible licensing options. Lower initial cost than traditional hardware. AWS Outposts offers access to AWS services and tools on-premises, providing a consistent AWS experience and integration with cloud services. What kind of support does AWS provide for Outposts installations? Only remote support during business hours. Support is provided only through online forums. 24/7 monitoring and on-site support as needed. No support is provided for installations. AWS provides 24/7 monitoring and on-site support as needed to ensure the smooth operation of Outposts installations. What is the benefit of using AWS Outposts for database applications? Low latency access to database services and local data storage. Limited to only cloud-based database services. Reduced database licensing costs. No need for database management. AWS Outpost provides low latency access to database services and allows local data storage, which is beneficial for applications requiring rapid data access. Which of the following describes the deployment model of AWS Outposts? On-premises deployment of AWS hardware. Software-only deployment model. Hybrid model without on-premises hardware. Cloud-only deployment model. AWS Outposts involves deploying AWS hardware on-premises to create a hybrid cloud environment. What kind of support infrastructure is required for AWS Outposts? Only internet connectivity. Minimal support infrastructure is needed. Third-party infrastructure services. Adequate power, cooling, and network connectivity. AWS Outposts requires adequate power, cooling, and network connectivity to function properly in an on-premises environment. What is AWS Outposts? A security service from AWS. A backup solution for AWS resources. A fully managed service that extends AWS infrastructure and services to on-premises locations. A data analytics tool from AWS. AWS Outposts extends AWS infrastructure, services, APIs, and tools to on-premises locations for a consistent hybrid experience. What is AWS Outposts' role in data residency requirements? Ensures data stays within a specified geographical region. Manages data residency for third-party services. Only supports data residency in the cloud. Facilitates data transfer across multiple regions. AWS Outposts ensures that data stays within a specified geographical region, complying with local data residency regulations and policies. What are the deployment options for AWS Outposts? Third-party data centers only. Only virtual deployments. Only server form factors. Rack and server form factors. AWS Outposts can be deployed in both rack and server form factors, allowing flexibility in how the service is integrated into on-premises environments. What is required to order an AWS Outpost? A third-party cloud provider account. A separate contract with a hardware vendor. Only an AWS account. An AWS account and a valid address for installation. To order an AWS Outpost, you need an AWS account and a valid address for the on-premises installation. What is the role of AWS Direct Connect in AWS Outposts? Only supports non-AWS applications. Provides a dedicated network connection to AWS. Acts as a backup internet connection. Used solely for security purposes. AWS Direct Connect provides a dedicated network connection between the on-premises outpost and the AWS region for consistent and secure connectivity. What is the purpose of the AWS Outpost service link? To connect outposts to third-party cloud services. To provide backup and recovery services. To establish connectivity between the outpost and its associated AWS region. To manage user access and permissions. The AWS Outpost service link is used to establish connectivity between the outpost and its associated AWS region for seamless operation. What type of storage is available on AWS Outposts? Third-party cloud storage. AWS EBS and S3 storage options. Only local disk storage. Tape-based storage. AWS Outposts offers AWS EBS and S3 storage options to meet various data storage needs. What types of workloads are ideal for AWS Outposts? Exclusive cloud-only applications. Low latency and data residency requirements. Backup and archive storage. Non-critical development workloads. AWS Outposts is ideal for workloads that require low latency, local data processing, and data residency compliance. What is the relationship between AWS Outposts and the AWS shared responsibility model? The customer manages the entire stack including hardware. AWS is responsible for data security while the customer is responsible for infrastructure. The shared responsibility model does not apply to AWS Outposts. AWS manages the infrastructure while the customer manages the data and applications. With AWS Outposts, AWS manages the physical infrastructure, while the customer is responsible for managing data, applications, and configurations. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.